Going from Russell Wilson to Deshaun Watson is a dream scenario for the Seattle Seahawks. It would be a seamless transition in which you're getting another young generational talent at quarterback. Russell Wilson was an amazing quarterback at one time. He's still pretty damn good. Seahawks were just ready to move on. Started to get some injuries. Contract was a lot. Russ, Seahawks just didn't bond well together. They started having issues with the GM, the coach. So move on, and they have a chance to go and get their next franchise guy, the next Russell Wilson, so to say. So I'd like to welcome you to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome today. Going over the possibility of Russell Wilson going to the Seattle Seahawks to replace Russell Wilson in a seamless transition where, Russell Wilson's a pretty damn good quarterback, but Deshaun Watson is a pretty damn good young quarterback as well. Both are just as expensive, but Deshaun Watson is younger. Has had some injury problems, but he's been hit so much over there, and things probably wouldn't change over Seattle behind that offensive line. So if you like NFL content, sports content, speculation, rumors, make sure you like, subscribe, and put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos and get into it. So, man, the Seahawks definitely have the cap room after trading Russ, the Broncos, and they have the assets as well. They get 2 first-round picks. They get 2 second-round picks, a 5th-round pick, Noah Fant, Drew Luck, Shelby Harris. All impact assets, all big-time assets. Drew Luck, we know what he is. We know what's going to go on with him. That's the only asset that's not really critical, I'd say, in gaining a guy like Deshaun Watson or even getting your next guy. So, what is a price tag for a guy like Deshaun Watson? So, you just traded one of the best quarterbacks in the past decade to the Broncos. Now, he's older. His play style is different. He's a scrambler. He likes to run around, does take some hits, and he started having some injury issues. And you got him for not really injury issues, just not getting along with the front, basically, with the front office. So, trading for Deshaun would take 3, 4 first-round picks, an impact player or 2. We just saw how much Russ went for. And Deshaun Watson is a younger version. He is just as expensive, but he's younger. And he's just as good, if not better, than Russell Wilson, in my opinion. So, they would definitely need to give up 2 of those first-round picks. Those 2 first-round picks they got. Because they don't really have anyone else to really give up. Are you going to give up Tyler Lockett? Are you going to give up DK Metcalf for Deshaun Watson? No, because then he's not going to have weapons. On top of that, he doesn't have an offensive line, and he has a running back that's injury-prone. On top of that, defense isn't great. So, I don't see this being as a very attractive spot for Deshaun Watson. The money's there, yes. The assets are there, yes. But I honestly think the Seahawks might be better off building through the draft, using the draft picks, signing some veteran free agents, and continue to sell some players to get some more draft picks, and continue to move on and try to find the next guy through the draft, free agency. That's just my opinion. Because if you go and look through what you would have to give up, you give up 2 first-round picks, at least those 2 first-round picks. You'd give up seconds, maybe a star player. Then you're taking away the ability to build around Watson, because you're not going to have that crazy much money once you trade for him. Yeah, it's like $35 million, something like that, but you have $45 million. So I'd bring it down to around $10 million to spend. So you can't really get anyone insane, but maybe you get a solid guy, but you still need to pay your draft picks, depending on how many draft picks you have left if you do end up trading for Watson. So I don't think it's a great idea. When you dig into some of these places, when you just look on the surface and be like, oh yeah, Carolina would be a nice spot. Oh yeah, the Eagles would be a nice spot. Oh, the Seahawks, they just lost Russ. They have the draft picks. Sometimes you need to dig in a little bit, because sometimes the answer isn't as clear as you think. You have to dig into the draft capital. Seahawks have that. You have to dig into the cap space. Seahawks have that. Sometimes you got to dig into the team to see if the team fits that player, if the scheme fits that player. In this scenario, it's a quarterback, so quarterback has to be a system. You can't really build a scheme around the quarterback. You want your quarterback to be the scheme. Right? You want your quarterback to be the system. You don't want him to be a part of the system. So Do I think they trade for him? I think the possibility is there. I think it's realistic that they go after him. I think it's something that can definitely happen within the next few days. Do I think it's the best choice? No. No. I think they draft a guy like Malik Willis and then build through the draft, sign some free agents, and maybe sign a veteran, or maybe even draft one of these edge rushers or offensive linemen early, like Charles Cross if he's there, an edge rusher. George Karlaftis is maybe going to be there. There's a lot of really good edge rushers. There's a lot of corner talent. The Seahawks could really use anything, to be honest. Outside of weapons, I think Lockett and DK are solid receivers, but receiver 3, I do believe they drafted someone last year. I don't remember who it was, though, but maybe it was Dwayne Eskridge. So maybe you're okay with weapons, but the tight end, you do have Noah Fant now, but you might have to give someone up. And you have Drew Lock. I think you just need to build this team slowly. I think they need to go on a slow rebuild, a full-on rebuild. And next year, maybe draft a quarterback if they're not thrilled with Malik Willis or any of the other guys this year. Because next year is a very good quarterback class. This year, nowhere near as talented as next year or even last year's class. This year's quarterback class is one of the more toned-back classes, quarterback-wise. There's a lot of other talent in the trenches. There's a lot of linemen, a lot of edge rushers, a lot of corners, really everything but the quarterback position, which is nice to see, because we really don't know who's going to be going number one. We really don't know. We really don't know who's going to be going 1, 2, 3. Last year we kind of knew, even though we kind of thought the Niners were going to take Mac Jones, or we kind of knew. We knew that the Jaguars were going to take Lawrence. We knew that the Jets were going to take Zach Wilson. And this year it's totally different. So the Seahawks got to really take advantage of the talent that they have in the trenches and all that. So and then they're gonna have an extra first round pick next year, of course. The Seahawks team just needs to build slowly. I don't think Pete Carroll's the guy anymore. He's an old school defensive coach. I don't think his system is amazing. I don't know if Deshaun Watson wants to go to that system because Russ just had problems with them. Russ wasn't happy when Pete Carroll and the GM really went to go look at Josh Allen in a draft workout, and that really and ever since then they've really had rifts. So, but if you get it like Watson, you're not going to be looking at all. But when they did that, when you have a Super Bowl winning QB, kind of puts questions in your head. But I guess we'll see. Do you guys think that the Seattle Seahawks should trade for or sign or trade for Deshaun Watson? And if they did, what would they give up? What would they have to give up? Is it going to be too much? Are they going to hurt themselves in the long run more? Because if you're not going to be able to build around him, what's the point of getting the guy? If you're not going to build anything around him besides wide receivers, you're just going to let him sit back there and get hit. You're not going to give him a big tight end option over the middle. You do have DK, who's a big wide receiver target. Run game is going to be there, but injury prone. Pete Carroll is a very good head coach, but he's a run-centric defensive. He's a defensive guy. I don't know. I think it's time to let go of Pete Carroll. I think it's time to start fresh with the Seahawks, honestly. So, thank you guys for tuning into the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, subscribe, and put the post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. I appreciate you for tuning in. And this is a JDW Sports Talk Show, signing off.